It's October in the real estate market in Orange County, and is it getting spooky? Are foreclosures on the way? Is there going to be a wave of them coming at us? Let's look at this. This is Dean Odell with Seven Gables Real Estate in the Odell Group. Today is October 2nd, and we are going to go straight to the charts and get these questions answered for you. Okay, so let's look at today's active listing inventory. 4,576 homes currently on the Orange County market. That is down nearly 200 homes from 2 weeks ago. 'Tis the season when we start to see active listing inventory drop, and we are following that red line on the chart. Let's look where we were last year, 3,666. So yes, a lot more houses on the market, nearly 1,000 more houses on the market. But when you look at the 3-year average down there at the bottom, you can see prior to COVID, we were averaging about 6,400 homes, which is almost 2,000 more homes. So let's see how demand is stacking up against this inventory. Today, we can see in the last 30 days, there's been 1,609 homes that have gone into escrow. If you look where we were 2 weeks ago, we were a little bit less, about 20 homes. And last year, 1,554 homes. Remember, we are on that red line, so you can see that our demand is actually up from last year. Still very down from the 3-year average prior to COVID, which was 2,262 homes. So we're still about, 650, 660 homes short of that. But remember, we do not have the extra couple thousand homes in inventory either. So let's look at what's going on for expected marketing time right now. There's 86 days it's taking on average to get a home into escrow. And you could see that that has fallen, if you look at the red line, from 2 weeks ago when it was 90 days, and still slower than last year's of 71 days, but right on par with the 3-year average prior to COVID, 86 days versus 86 days. If we look where that kind of fits in, it's a slight seller's market, right? And then if we look at the slight seller's market, we say, okay, well, how does that compare by price range? Because that's really important. So if we look at this next chart, we can see we're a slight seller's market all the way up to $2 million. You can get a home sold in 87 days or less if you're pricing it right and you're in that price range, okay? And you can see how that stacks against last year's numbers, and you can see how much current inventory there is versus the demand. Moving down the chart, we can see it turns into a slight buyer's market over 2 million. It becomes a deep buyer's market over 4 million. So 4 million and up, it's really a big buyer's market. You can see if you're 6 million and up, my gosh, there's 7% of the inventory and only 2% of the demand. And you can see it's taking almost a year in that price range to get a home sold on average. What we want to look at now is you're seeing it in the news and everything. You're hearing about it, this big wave of foreclosures. It's all over the internet. What are we talking about here in Orange County? Well, let's look at this next chart, which is the distressed snapshot foreclosures and short sales. So just to put things in perspective for you, and I've been around long enough to know and remember, in September 2008, this is what the numbers look like, okay? Total distressed listings, 5,650 homes. That was when we had 1,228 foreclosures and 4,422 short sale listings. For those of you who don't know what short sale listings are, it simply means that the seller actually owed more money on the property than the property was worth. So we would have to go back to the banks, we would have to negotiate the banks to take a lesser price and take a loss on the loan. And that was not a fun market to work in, I assure you. If we look at where our 3-year average was prior to COVID, 2017 to 2019, you could see how low those numbers were, right? Only 70 total distressed listings. Then in 2023, you could see there was only a total of 6. Last year, there was only a total of 5. And right now we have a grand total of 8, right? So if you like the hooks on the headlines, what are they going to tell you? They're going to say, oh my goodness, foreclosures are up. You know, they're up by 60%. They went from 5 to 8. Well, who cares? It's an insignificant number relative to the strength of this market. So again, you can go to the bottom part of this chart and you can look at the total distressed closed sales, not just what was on the market, but what was the closed sales in the same months. And you could see, we were averaging almost 1,200 foreclosure type sales, short sales back then. And 2017 to 2019 pre-COVID, there was only 30. Now look where we are. In 2023, there was only 7, 24, 2, and now there's 6. Oh my goodness. Foreclosures, look at that. Closed sales have tripled They've gone from 2 to 6, okay? Don't believe the drama in the headlines, you guys. We're not headed for a foreclosure market. There's just simply not enough people that have loans that are in trouble. Now let's talk about what's really going on in my advice for buyers and sellers. Okay, so catchy headlines, lots of drama, lots of hope on the buyer side that this whole market's going to implode. Come on, we hear it all, right? But let's look at the data. Let's look at what's really going on in Orange County. I mean, if you're a buyer that's sitting around waiting for some sort of implosion, I think you're going to be waiting a long time if it even happens. I mean, there's nothing in the charts to show it. Here's the problem. You have sellers out there that have way too much equity. I mean, nobody's in trouble from an equity standpoint, right? So anybody can sell whenever they want to and get out. There's not going to be this panic sale. There's not going to be people that are upside down, certainly not enough to affect the market. As I told you, the delinquency rate is between 3 and 4%. I mean, it's not a whole lot historically to create a big significant change in this market. So what is changing in this market? Well, what's changing in this market for the buyers is interest rates. Interest rates have dropped almost 100 basis points. What's 100 basis points? It's 1 point. If it goes from 7 to 6, that's 100 basis points. What does that mean for you as a buyer? Well, that means if you're 20% down, you probably just picked up almost 10% purchasing power, which means if you were looking at a house that was $1.2 million, you can now look at a house that's $1.325 million or so, right? So you picked up purchasing power and you want to take advantage of interest rates while they are down, okay? Because we have no guarantee that they're going to stay down. People don't agree on that either. Are they going to go down? Are they going to go up? All we know is historically at the end of the year, a lot of times we do see interest rates dip, and we'll see that into the very beginning of the year. And then the spring, summer market, they start going back up again. It's like the supply and demand of money, right? So as a buyer, you want to take advantage of this little time in the market where you have less competition and buyers competing for more listings than there's been in a while, okay? It's not like you're going to go in and steal a house though. So you got to get that mentality out. You just need to get a fair price, buy for the long term. It's the best advice I can give you guys because there is just nothing in the data that shows market turning around and there being such a flood of inventory that's going to crash prices. If you see it, tell me where it is. Put it in the comments, okay? Now, sellers, good news as always for you guys. Maybe not the great news that we had years ago where we had 10 offers, 15 offers on everything. Buyers are a lot more hesitant. I mean, the affordability is not good for buying houses. I mean, all you got to do is just think about it. I mean, if someone has to get $1 million loan, they're going to have a $6,000 house payment roughly. Then they're going to have taxes, insurance, association dues, all that stuff on top of that. Most of you guys couldn't even afford to buy your own house back, right? I mean, we talk to sellers every day. They can't even believe what the buyers have to pay. So let's sympathize somewhat for the buyers. Let's not get too greedy in our asking prices. And let's just be very, very happy that we're in a position that we're in as sellers to be able to, get all this equity unfrozen and get all this money back to go do what you want with your life, right? I mean, nobody thought the market was going to be where it is now. I haven't talked to a seller that told me, oh yeah, I thought my house would be worth this someday. So you guys are so far ahead. It's just a matter of pricing, and pricing has to be in line with the condition of the house when it hits the market, the marketing, the exposure it's going to get, everything else. That's where we come in. We're very good at that. We've been doing this a long time. We know how to get you the most exposure in the least amount of time, hassle-free. We come in, we can prep the house, get it ready for you, carpet, paint, staging, or we could do nothing. It's your choice. It's your house. But we'll tell you the advantages and disadvantages of each. Give us a call. We would love to talk to you. And I will see you on the next Tustin Talks. Thanks. Bye-bye.